All right. I got my coffee. We're all set to go. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Talking to Skiz about what he's recording on Hermitcraft right now, and it has got me so excited. You guys are going to definitely want to watch this next episode. It's going to be hilarious. It's so good. It's so good. Hi. We're in a creative world today. Fair warning. Fair warning. We may go to Hermitcraft later. I don't know. Today is the first. There'll be a few, I think. I know of at least one more. Today's the easier one. We're going to be doing a little decked out science where I'm going to give you guys all kinds of new information about the game, particularly one system. And we're going to prototype how that system, or one of the effects of that system, which I'm excited about. This may take 20 minutes. It may take 2 hours. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Yeah. Let me get all my things in order here. Scroll up to the thing with the things. Daniel and Cluckster, thank you. Danny, thank you. How you doing? Fessler, 68 months. 6-7 plus 1. Okay. Where do I start? Where do I start? Maybe we'll just do this. Maybe we'll just do this. Okay, where's the NDA? There's no NDA. This will be repeated in the next video, I'm sure. But you know what? At this point, I'm like, you guys on Twitch are awesome, so you guys are going to probably just get... You guys are going to get all the spoilers. Dr. 3845! What? What? 50 it's so hot. It's directly proportional to the octave of my voice. 50 gift subs. What? Thank you so much. Unbelievable. Thank you, Doctor. And Froggy Bang Bang with 5 gift subs as well. Thank you so much, Froggy. Exclusive previews. Yeah. Oh yeah, other spoilers. I guess I could probably. Yeah, no harm. No harm. Next week, going on a little trip with the missus. So I know, bad timing, right? Right at the beginning of the season. Sunday to Wednesday, I am out. I am out. So I won't be able to stream on those days. What that also means is I wouldn't be able to be in the second recording of a thing that may or not be getting worked on, so I dipped out. I won't be in it. I won't be in it. And that's all we're going to say. That's all we're going to say. I think it was the right decision, but from what I heard, it does sound pretty fun. It does sound pretty fun, though, so you guys are going to want to check it out for sure. There's reasons, and they make sense, so. Yes, 7 inches of snow over there, Pebbles. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. This is going to be me rambling in no particular order because I haven't really thought this through. Let's see. Decked Out 1 and Decked Out 2 had a little system in it called Clank, where it kind of measured theoretically how much noise you were making in the dungeon, etc., etc. Difficulty ramped up. You know, the more noise you made, and bad things would happen. Clank is gone. There's no more Clank anymore, or at least it's being heavily renamed. It's now called Clink. Yeah. So there's no Clank, right? Steph, thank you so much for the piece of pie. Can I please get a happy birthday for you? Benji, happy birthday to you. 6 years old. That is amazing. Benji, happy birthday to you. Happy 6th birthday. So there is no system called Clank. There are two major systems in Decked Out 3, both that are new. I'm going to be covering one of them today. And it's called Fear. Fear is instead of the game being based on how sneaky you are and how much noise you're making, instead you're battling your inner fears and how terrified you are, basically. So fear is a metric that you will be balancing very carefully in the game. And the game is going to be designed heavily around things that should instill fear in you. Now, do I honestly think I'm going to actually scare the hermits? Hopefully, but not realistically, especially not after they've played it a few times. But I still think it's a good game mechanic that will go a long way, and it'll help support the feeling of the game I'm going for. Yeah, I'll be honest, a lot of these were some of the systems that we have in this game were definitely inspired by some of the Cthulhu games. Fear and hope. Oh, no, hope is not the other system. I wouldn't be that blatant. So Scar screwed. Is Hazard in? It's not called Hazard, and it's definitely not the same. So we'll say no. Hazard is gone as well. Arturio, thank you for the 20 gift subs. Thank you so much. Okay, so fear. Let's talk about fear. I'm just going to be going over my notes here and kind of deciding what I want to say. So fear represents it's kind of like the sense of dread upon the players as they play this game. The theory, the feeling of like kind of like this impending doom on them that's what we're going for. Like, things are getting worse and worse, and they're experiencing more and more things that are making them scarier and scarier. Whether this is realistically or metaphorically, quite honestly, I don't care. Anxiety, yeah. Paranoia, yeah. It's all of these feelings. So it's an internal thing, right? Like how terrified I am. How well am I able to function and overcome the things that are terrifying me right now? Basically. Sanity? No, we're not calling it sanity, because if I call it sanity, I'd get, and it's not even related to sanity, but I'm not calling it sanity, and I'm not touching that for obvious reasons. So fear should be, it'll probably be on, like, it's going to be on your UI map. It's going to be something that's measured, right? It'll be on like a scale of, and first of all, I'm making all this stuff up. There's a lot of the actual details I don't have the numbers for or anything yet, so take it with a big grain of salt that things are going to change. But roughly, like, it'll be a metric on your UI map that you'll be able to see where your fear is. Imagine a scale of like 1 to 20. It might turn out to be 1 to 10. I don't know. I'm thinking 1 to 20 right now, though. And it's going to be highly fluctuating. It'll spike up and then it'll go down, and it'll spike up and it'll go down. And that's what you're kind of balancing. This is your quick metric that you have a little bit more control over. The other one, which we're not talking about, is a more slower moving one, and you don't have as much control over it, and it doesn't fluctuate as much. So things that can make your fear go up. Heartbeat return for ambience. There will be an ambient sound. Yes, there will be. I actually have a meeting with my audio guy tomorrow where we're going over all the audio sounds that I need. There's a lot. I think it's like 150 sounds I need or something ridiculous like that. But fear is definitely one of the systems that's going to have a layer to it. And I have to talk to him and get his ideas about how he wants to do it and everything like that. But it'll definitely be, it's not going to be as simple as Decked Out 1 and 2, where it was just a heartbeat, an escalating heartbeat. That may be part of it, but it's going to be more layered, more nuanced, and he's going to put a lot more talent, honestly, into it than I have with just a simple heartbeat. So it'll be one of these things that ramps up, and it's not going to be like a hard, like, oh, you just went from tier 1 audio to tier 2. They're going to blend and layer together, I would think. Heavy breathing, I don't know. I was honestly thinking about the heavy breathing. A lot of games do that, but I think it gets a little annoying if you do it too much, but we'll see. That's a discussion we're gonna have tomorrow. But yes, I can promise you there will be a scaling up of audio, letting you know without even looking at your UI how how scared you are. You should start to hear it and feel it. But the heartbeat is pretty good, yeah. I could imagine a heartbeat being part of it. If I pause awkwardly once in a while, it's just because I'm reading chat and trying to catch up with you guys, in case anyone says anything good. Will fear be dynamic, impacted by random changes to the environment, light level? Yeah, we'll get there in a second. So for those just joining, is fear replacing Clank? Clank is gone, fear is in, but I don't think it's a one-to-one swap because of what they do is going to be very different, as you'll see. Okay, what causes fear to go up? Well, one of the things that can cause it to go up is cards, obviously. Cards can cause it to go up or down, right? There will probably be some cards that all they do is lower your fear, like, courage or bravery or something like that. It'll be called, right? And it'll just lower your fear because that card was played. And you're going to want some of those in your deck to control your fear. There will be other cards that might raise fear. Obviously, that's not all they would do. It would have to be like a pros and cons kind of thing, because if someone has a card that's just +3 fear, they're not going to put it in their deck. But if a card gives +2 fear and plus something else of a lot that they really want, that give and take might be worth it. That kind of thing. Combine it with your audio player mod. If they make loud sounds, their fear will go up. I can't detect the sounds they're making, unfortunately. Not without some crazy mods, yeah. So cards is the first one. Now, one of the other big one that will cause, this is probably the biggest one that will cause fear to go up, is we're just going to call them world events. And most of these will probably just be audio. There may be some visuals, depending. I have some ideas. But basically, as you're exploring the world, you will hear things or potentially see things that will raise your fear. These things will be random. They're not going to be on any kind of schedule. And they will be kind of like bursts of fear. Like when these things happen, it might be on the scale of +2 to, +2 to 6 fear instantly. So it may shoot up. These are going to be, these world events, they'll sound scary. They'll be very atmospheric, and they're going to be based on the location of the world, location of the map that you're in. So the random world events you hear in Greywick are going to be very different than the world events you hear in the Blackmire, in the swamp, or in the Mistwell Caverns, or in the crypt, right? There'll be different atmospheric effects based on where you're at. And the interesting thing is, these effects, or I should say the zones or the areas that you're in, are tracking player location confirmed. Yes, 100% Dead Knight. The locations that you're in are going to have, and I hate to use this term, but they're going to have their own fear factor associated with it. So, and these numbers I'm making up just to prove a point. I don't know what they are, so don't get excited about the numbers, but imagine the village is a 1.0 fear factor. Maybe this, the Blackmire is a 1.5 fear factor, and maybe the crypt is a 2.5, right? And it means that when these random events go off, that's kind of the multiplier that will be associated with those events. And what this means is the farther you move out from the village and the scarier places you go, the scarier and the more your fear will spike up, and you need to have a deck of cards prepared for those zones. So that's going to be one of the big deterrents from you pushing out and overextending yourself and going out into zones that you're just not ready for because you don't have the deck of cards to sustain it. The fear is going to spike way too high. So, you know, I'm imagining in Greywick itself, there may be like, you know, there's gonna be like ambient sounds, like, you know, crows going off and owls and wind, and those might be just like ambient things, but then there might be like more kind of like stabs, like instant fear effects. And I haven't thought of the details yet. Everything. I'm going to talk to my sound guy and get some of the ideas, you know, and we're going to kind of brainstorm together. But those bigger ones are going to be a separate tier. They're not going to be ambient. They're going to be a fear event, and that will actually cause your fear to spike up. Any plans for something like an egg hunt? I don't know. Let's stay focus. Focus. Is that three gonna have pancakes? So I'm still just going through all of the things that modify fear, and then later on we're gonna get into the effects of fear. So hang on, all right? So that's a big one. The random world fear events are going to be things that are probably going to be the thing that really make your fear spike up a lot. So where you go determines how fearful basically it's going to be. And yes, this is a fancy way of saying that fear will randomly spike up with time. But I think doing it as an audio cue or potentially a visual cue, it's going to make it feel a lot more immersive instead of just, you know, it's slowly going up over time. So for instance, like in the swamp, you might hear, you know, some bubbling, something or other. You might hear like a werewolf howl in the distance. I don't know, right? I'm making this up, but there will be some events that you'll hear that will just instill dread in you, or it should. Again, am I really expecting to scare the hermits? No. Do you get scared in horror movies is the question, right? Some people, yes. Some people will. Some people won't, and that's okay either way. But it's also going to make it so like you're not going to want to linger in these zones or areas that have that high fear multiplier, right? I can tell you that the crypt will probably have a high fear multiplier, so you're gonna want to get in and get out and do your things, because the longer you stay in there, the longer your fear is really spiking up at a higher rate than if you were to get back to the village. Give me a second. Right. Zone specific. Yep. Okay. There will also be a few other things. One thing I'm extremely excited about that I'm not going to go over today, that will raise your fear. But it'll be something you have a little bit more control over and a little bit more skill involved. So it's not just that, but it's basically cards can make it go up and down. These random fear events will make it go up. But now in terms of what makes it go down is, one of the things that's going to make it go down is time. Slowly and consistently, fear will always be dropping, okay? But it's going to be slow, like real slow. Like if you watch it, you'll maybe be able to see it go down a little bit over time. So if you go back to the village and chill out for a little bit, your fear you'll start to calm down, right? If you're not experiencing any big fearful events, it may go down. But there's going to be other costs based on other systems to just hanging around doing nothing. So loitering and waiting for that to decline isn't going to be a good thing. And I don't even know if, like, you know, the village will definitely have the lowest fear multiplier, fear factor with it. I don't even know if that's going to be a zero sum there, or net positive or net negative based on the fear events that are happening in the village themselves versus your natural decline. It'll probably still be positive. I want it to still be positive. You're going to need cards to protect yourself, or other things, which that's down the road too. 7-hour runs incoming? No, absolutely not. Don't worry about that. Yeah, definitely. There will be no loitering. Will not be encouraged. Aussie Joe, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I really appreciate it. Hostile Target, thank you. Okay, so fear reducers, time. Fear will always tick down slowly. But it's a very, very slow rate. Cards. Obviously, cards are your big way to reduce fear. There will be some cards that obviously give you big, like, essentially like there were big clank blockers in Decked Out 2. There will be, but it's not blocking, it's reducing. There will be big fear reducing cards that may come at another cost. So it may not just be -5 fear. It may be like -5, you know, -6 fear, which is great. There may be a little extra cost you got to pay to get that negative. So we'll see. There may be locations. There should be locations on the map where if you go there, your passive fear reduction, whatever you want to call it, will increase a little bit. But I'm not encouraged. Again, loitering, bad. That's the drain, I guess would be the word. Yeah. Yeah. Calm down, guys. We'll get there. We'll get there. Again, there's two major systems in Decked Out 3. We're going over fear today. There's another one which we're not going to cover. The other one is the one that's going to be more lethal, we'll say. So don't draw conclusions about how hard the game is going to be because you guys haven't heard a fraction of it yet. So that's basically it. Cards make it go up, cards make it go down. Random world fear events make it go up. Time will make it slowly go down. Some people may have ways of making that drain be quicker than others. What does fear do? Let's talk about what does fear do. There's two main things it does. One, well, obviously, like I said, there will be audio associated with it. This does not affect your gameplay, but the immersion level will hopefully crank up quite high. As your fear goes up, the audio layering will kick up too, to hopefully make you a little bit more scared in game based on the sounds you're hearing. So higher fear will mean intensified versions of the audio. Almost like if you guys remember in Hungry Hermits, right? The song got quicker and kind of cooler as the days progressed. Think of that in terms of your fear scaling up in real time, but instead of a whole new song, it just blends and changes and escalates. And instead of a happy song about serving food, it's about your impending doom. So I'll jump to one of the other effects that I think is cool. There's going to be a certain amount of it's hard without giving away all the spoilers. There's going to be certain audio events, we'll say, in the game that you may hear that you can only hear when your fear is peaking or close to peaking. In other words, your mind is starting to play with you and you might hear things. Some of those things might be good. That's all we're going to say. Some of those things might be useful. Okay, so the two major consequences of your fear escalating. One of them, I'm not going to cover today because it directly works with the other system that we're not going to talk about today. But the main tangible effect of fear is darkness. You guys see where I'm going with this? What's scarier than the darkness? So our plan for Decked Out 3, when your fear gets above a certain threshold, you will have darkness applied to you at increasing rates. So for everyone asking, are there going to be wardens in the game? The answer is yes. But are wardens going to be attacking the players? No. We're going to sprinkle the entire map with over 100 wardens, and we're going to put them in triggerable bubble vaders that on demand I can send them all to the surface and shed darkness across the entire 400 by 400 area. So no matter where you are, you're going to be cloaked in darkness. And I can control the frequency of applying this darkness by raising and lowering all the wardens in sync. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool. So how scared you are, the world's gonna start closing in and your mind is gonna start to shut down and the audio is gonna ramp up and intensify and your vision is gonna close in. It's gonna be cool, guys. It's gonna be cool. So today what we're doing is prototyping that darkness on demand system. And we're gonna go over some of the warden mechanics, how we're gonna pull this off. It's not that complicated, honestly. And hopefully get some ideas. Maybe you guys, as always, you guys can always help out with this. And who knows? Yeah, I know there are risks in this, okay? But hopefully the way I have it planned, it should be fine. It should be fine. I'm hoping that there's no warden side effects where this is gonna fall apart. I need some coffee. Would you ever be willing to do the redstone first on your streams to keep the map spoiler free? Well, redstone is below the map, so if I'm doing redstone, I'm not spoiling the map. Are you testing on a paper server? No, Doc. Why would I? Are you not worried about too much darkness content would be a good video wise? It's a valid question. And yes, it does mean that there will be some dark videos and dark streams. I honestly weighed the pros and cons of that, and it was definitely a heavy factor of like, is this going to degrade things too much? And in the end, I don't think it does. It definitely hurts the audience's visibility just as much as it hurts the player's visibility. But I honestly think that brings the viewer in as well and engages the audience and brings the fear up with the audience in sync with the player. That's my hope. We'll see. If it gets too much, we'll tone it down, you know? Okay, so ideas here. The idea is we're gonna work on an individual warden pop-up cell here. Keep in mind that once we get one, extrapolate that into a grid that covers the entire map. It shouldn't be that hard to scale these out and across, you know, width-wise. So let me grab some stuff here. Admittedly, I have some ideas of how to do this, but I can assure you that you guys are going to say some things that are going to make me change my mind. Or who knows? We'll see. Okay. Oh, you guys probably want to see the game. Sorry. Okay. Great game. I know. All right. Get it out of your system. All right. All the snark. There we go. All right. Let me know when you guys are done. Even though it's from the piece of pie. Scientificating. Too bad I work at Evil. Thank you so much for popping in. Appreciate it. Vanessa, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Cowboy it up. Thank you for the 5 gift subs. Allium chocolate. Thank you. 4 o'clock. Workday ends. All the wardens descend down the elevators. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. Are we good? We're good. All right, so let me just go over here a little bit. Let's see. Let me go up a little bit. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that. Okay. Gotta get my happy smooth stones. Grab a little redstone dust. Probably one of these two. All right. Again, this is not final redstone. The redstone today is going to be jank. I don't care. It's about just getting this to kind of work. We'll do around this one here. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, my counter's right there. So actually, so wardens can detect, they can sniff out creatures within a large area around them. It's like 50 by 50 radius or something by 51. I think it's 51 blocks vertically. I checked the wiki. I'm not sure. So the idea is when the wardens are not active, they're going to be way down below. This is Axiom I'm playing with here, by the way. Axiom in a creative world. The wardens are going to be down to at like Y0 is what I'm thinking. Right around where I have to start digging out some deep slate, I'm hoping. Is the music okay? Is the music too loud? I feel like the music might be a little loud. The idea is when they're way down there, they're not going to be gaining aggro on players. They're not going to be gaining aggro on, what do you call it? On any of the monsters in the game or anything. A little loud. I'll knock it down a little bit. If I can remember how to do that. Try this. Did that work at all? I need to go up 51. We'll go up 60 blocks here. Okay. Did not change. Let me just do it this way then. Okay. Are you worried about swamp slimes causing issues with the wardens? No? I'm not sure what you mean. There will be slimes down there. The wardens might kill them. I don't care. Gotta love people. 50 people saying it's fine. One person saying it's loud. Was it fine? I'll turn it up a little bit. I'm always just sensitive. I don't want to be blasting people out with. I mean, the music is mostly here for me because I get weird if it's all quiet. No, it was loud, but you said loud. You used capital letters, so that means your vote is more important, right? That's how it works, I think. All right. So that's a 60 block bubble vader. We're gonna have to obviously compensate for the time it takes to lift the guy up there as well. So let me, for now, normally this is going to be controlled by game systems, right? The level of their fear, the rate at which I want to escalate this. If they're a max fear, it might be happening constantly. But for now, let's just put them on we're going to put it on an etho clock. If I can make one, you know, because I'm an expert and stuff and we're professional. Boom, 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 boom. Boop. No idea what the right amount is. We'll see. Do you have saved hotbars? Yeah, I don't use them though because my brain's not that big. I should. Chat, what is he doing? We're working on we're prototyping new effect. For those just joining, welcome. We just spent, I highly recommend you check out the beginning of this VOD. We're introducing a new mechanic in the game, a very important one called fear. And what causes fear to go up, what causes fear to go down. You're right, Jake. You're not wrong. And now we're going into the effects of fear. The primary one being darkness and how we're going to apply darkness to everyone, or to the player, I should say, regardless of where they are on the map, by lifting wardens up into the play zone briefly. So let me see here. Let's see. We want it to be, I might want to swap this, I think. So we'll push this one. We're just going to use some repeater spam here, I think, right? That one pushes it, turns it into a bubble. Now we want them to go, so wardens broadcast their darkness in a 20 block sphere from them every 6 seconds. Unfortunately, that 6 seconds isn't, all wardens don't apply it at the same time. They all have their own like modulation of time within that 6 second window where they will apply it. So when I send all the wardens up, I have to pretty much leave them all up there for 6 full seconds if I want to guarantee that they're going to spread darkness. And it may go off. It's basically like, imagine a field of 100 wardens going up and then patches of darkness within those 6 seconds going like flashing. You won't notice that because you're only going to be in the range of one of them basically. And as soon as you get hit by darkness, getting hit by another one that may slightly overlap won't matter. So what we're going to do is figure out the time it takes to raise them up there, be up there for 6 seconds, and then lower them down. Now, we have to compensate for the time it takes to go up, but obviously the time it takes to come down, we don't really care about, because once they get down a little bit, they're out of range of the player for the most part. Did he say 100 wardens? Yes. Probably, it depends how big, but roughly it's going to be, because every warden covers a 20 by 20. So you basically going, you know, horizontally, you need a warden every 40 blocks. If decked out is 400 by 400, which may be a little bit big. We'll just say that for now. That's 10 across. So that would be 100 wardens. You'll see later on how we're going to stack those areas though. So it actually compresses a little bit. We'll see. How do you avoid the sonic blast? They don't happen. Will it not drown or take magma damage? No, it doesn't. You can't drown a warden and they're immune to fire. Wardens only aggro sniffing a vertical distance of 20, so in theory it could be closer. Right, Jake, but they detect creatures that are upwards of 51. I guess all that does is it causes them to path up. So right, they detect all the creatures within a 50-50 by 51, I believe. And they'll start walking toward those creatures, I think. But they can't wander, you're right. So technically I could have it lower. So yes, maybe this height is fluctual, but something tells me that this height is going to be the way it is anyways, because I want them way, way, way out of the way. I don't ever want to be dealing with wardens, obviously. So the farther down they are, there's no cost to bringing them down here, except a little bit, like another second or two of lift time. So the more they're out of the way, the more I could build the map and add redstone and go lower and not worry about them, the better, you know? I want you to have them detect you in the redstone. No, I don't want that. Won't they fill the mob cap? They're going to be name tagged, so no. Okay, so let me keep doing some of this. We'll do this. I have no idea the timing or the numbers behind this right now. We're probably going to have to, and this, I won't do it with repeater chains. I'll probably come up with something a little bit better, hopefully, once I know what the actual delay is, but let's just see what this gets us. The timing is 5. Thanks, Doc. You're always super helpful. We're going to be up here playing with this area quite a bit in a second, so, but bear with me. Once we get this working. Door. It's probably gonna despawn while I'm doing this. So it's gonna take him a while to come down. Oh, the clock was too fast. Probably need to add more items into this. Yeah. All right, come on down so I can name tag you. Oh, did he just despawn right in front of me? What a jerk butt. Did I get him? I think I got him. All right. Okay. So now wait for the next clock cycle here. Let's see. Okay, boom, gets lifted. So it's about a 4-second time to get up there. So that wasn't enough. So we need to increase this a little bit more. Which I expected. And again, this is super jank. I wouldn't do it this way, I don't think. I'll probably come up with some other way, but for now, I just want to get one working. Your up and down delay are going to be different, right? I mean, yeah, they fall slower than they go up. There's going to be, so this right here is controlling the rate at which I can lift them, and this right here is just controlling the time it takes them to go up and come down. As long as the cycle of this is obviously less than this, and we're guaranteed that they're reset before I send them up again, then we're good. That's pretty good. That's in the ballpark it looked like right there. I may end up doing something where, like, this is a very simple way of doing it, but it does take them a long time to come down. There might be an option where they go up and then I just drop them if I really need to get them down quick enough. But this is pretty simple right here. So it really comes down to how much do I want to apply the darkness, right? What's the maximum darkness application rate? When they get hit by darkness, it's on for 13 seconds. So theoretically, go up 6 seconds there. It already takes more than 13 seconds, I think, to do the full cycle because of how long it's taking to drop them. So we may have to, this time right here is really controlling the rate at which we can lift them. Let's try and get that to be like right as he gets down there. Maybe he's going back up. You want perma darkness at any point? I don't know, Jake, right? That's the question. If they're at maximum fear, I definitely want more than 50% darkness, but I don't know if I want to go maximum. Oh, this is dumb, right? No, I'm not dumb. That should work, right? Okay. Still way too much. That sounds boring for viewers and the player. 100% darkness. You sound boring for the viewer, Doc. You thought about that? You thought about that? Oh, okay. We're getting close. We're getting close. Let me just add a little bit more in there, and that should be good. All right. So let's just make sure now he should be popping up down, and there he goes again. Okay, so we're on a good enough cycle now to start testing. Could you do a loop? So raise, shift, fall, shift, raise. Raise, shift, fall, shift, raise. Isn't that what we're doing, JMac? Raise, shift, fall, shift, raise. So let's see if I just stand here now. We'll just see what happens. Obviously, there's going to be wool and all that stuff, guys. So please don't start screaming wool. I know it's coming. I just want to see how long before... How long do I go without darkness, essentially? Quite a bit. Quite a bit. But that's not to say I need 100% darkness coverage. I can agree that would arguably potentially bad, but about 12 seconds or so. So right now it's about 50-50 coverage. We're 13 seconds on and about 12 seconds off. But I would like the option of going more if I want to, and I want to be able to target that with what do you call it? Like tweak that with game design, not be a technical limitation. So right now it's that descending time. So the only way that I can think of to get them to fall quicker would be to have a double column system. Have 2 in a cycle. Yeah, that still needs a double column system though, which if I have 2 in the system, right? Because with two wardens each cell, then that doubles the amount of wardens. That's 200 wardens. That's a bit much. 100 is already a bit much. So I really want to keep it 1. My first maybe kind of secondary prototype would be to kick them over in a water stream and drop them down a column and then drop them back over so that it's like go up and then whoosh, they're down real fast. That does very much keep in mind I have to build maybe 100 of these. So if I could get away with doing it with just 1 column, that's much better. If you speed up the hopper clock, they'll... Yeah, you're right, Atheon. I was thinking that too. There's no reason I have to technically wait for him to get all the way down. But here's the thing. So the way... Let me get this going here, actually. This is something I should have done sooner. All right, bear with me here now, because this is not my specialty. I have a command block that's going to allow us to monitor the warden's anger toward me. Repeat, needs redstone, yeah. Give me a lever. Turn that on, and then I think I need to do this. My forehead the last couple days has been randomly twitching. I told my wife, I'm like, my forehead's been twitching a lot. And she stared at it. And she was thoroughly entertained. She was like, I just did it! I was like, yeah. And she's like, did you Google it? I'm like, no, I didn't Google it because it's just going to say I'm stressed. She's like, Google it. I Googled it. Why is my forehead twitching? Immediately. Caused by large amounts of stress. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, boop, close that window. Cool. That didn't work. So yeah, stressed. Oh, I think one of these needs to be capitalized. I'm not sure which, because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that one's capitalized. Use redstone, repeat. Ah! Does anyone know how this works? Scoreboard objectives. Oh, I have to do that first. Scoreboard objective, add score. I think this is working now. He's mad at me. He's mad. All right, so that's his anger meter toward me. So the first thing you'll see is that a warden's aggro toward any creature goes down at 1 per second all the time. Okay? When he detects you, which can be from 2 different ways, it goes up by 35. It goes up by 35 if you're within 6 meters of him and he sniffs. And it goes up by 35 if he detects one of your vibrations, which I think is 16 blocks or whatever. But you know what the vibrations are, like when you see. So how does it feel when the chat's just spamming dummy? I'm kind of used to it, you know, in other words. But, you know, the net result is the same. Sniffing is 20 blocks vertical. Yeah, 20 blocks vertical and 6 blocks horizontal. What's up, Squash? So the hope slash goal slash plan is that any aggro that the warden would get toward the player, which shouldn't really happen once we put wool up there. The only way that I think they'll be able to get aggro to the player is if the player is within 6 blocks of one of their locations, and we'll get to this in a second. But even that's only going to add 35. Okay, a warden doesn't attack until it gets to 80, I think. So they can basically sniff you out twice before attacking you, which is going to take a third sniff of you standing in position on top of them, and they're not even going to be up there for that long. So the time they drop, you can see it's going to be automatically declining, right? So if I go up here, you plan on Java or Bedrock? Java. Can you keep the warden at the top for less than 6 seconds? Not if I want to guarantee that he spreads darkness, because again, the warden spreads darkness every 6 seconds, but there's no way for me to know when he does it, and every warden is different. So, right, if I'm here, he's angry at me, he detected me once, so that the detection wouldn't happen because we're obviously going to have wool around him. So the only way he's going to be able to get anger at me, that 35 hit anger, is if I'm within 6 blocks of him. So yeah, yes, they will also potentially sniff Ravagers. Whoops. So I guess the downside is if a Ravager here, let's change something up here, right? A couple other things I want to do. Let's do. So there's a couple in terms of how high he comes up. If this is say this is the ground level of the map, right? I think realistically, I only want him to come up to, I don't want his head to come up above the ground, right? For a couple of reasons. Let's go ahead and put him there. Oh, that waterlogged that. Awesome. That probably just killed all my redstone. Slab. We good? We're not good. Okay. Put the warden darkness generators in areas Ravagers can't go. Not an option. Ravagers can pretty much go anywhere. And if we start making too many areas where the Ravagers can't go, then players will learn that it's a safe spot. Okay, so wardens obviously fit in a 1x1 column, but their actual model, their geometry is much bigger than that. So if I have them come up above the surface level, their bits are going to be poking out. You're going to see them, you know. So I'd actually have to allocate a 3x3 area. Can't type. I'd actually have to allocate a 3x3 area. Well, I can like demonstrate it right here. Right, you'll see when he comes up next time that he spins and does all kinds of crazy stuff. So if we did that, we're protected from his vibrations, or from him sensing our vibrations, but we still can see him, and I don't want the players to see wardens poking out of all the buildings and stuff like that. So like when he comes up, you'll see he's very like, right, we don't want to see that. So I'd have to allocate a 3x3 to every warden pop-up if we were to have him actually come above the surface. But I think what I'm gonna do is actually just have him stop just like this, because with a 20 block sphere, obviously by not having him come up as high, the sphere of where he applies that darkness lowers a little bit, right? It's gonna go down a little bit because the sphere is big enough. The vertical sides of that are big enough where you really don't get much of a fall off. And I'm going to explore that right now, in fact. So if I do this. Hi. Oh, I didn't show the thing. Sphere. Let's add a shape. Enable configure. We'll make this one red. We're going to make it cool. Escape. Okay. We're going to make it 20 blocks, and we'll say full block so it's easier to see from both sides. Set here. Okay. So this, if I could fly.
You know what can happen now?
It's not that time.
It's December. You know what that means?
Multimeter? No, this is mini HUD.
What does December mean?
Gotta have the poof in the right direction, right? Gotta have the poof. All right, we're gonna take a little break because I want to show you guys something. I want to show them.
Now that you have the hat on.
Now that I'm festive, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna show you guys something that is awesome. I went to the post office today and I had a gift waiting for me. Do you guys remember the 3D print of Deep Frost Citadel? You guys all remember that, right? I assume most of you here have seen that. It was insane. Well, in fact, should I bring it over and show that first? Please don't drop it. We'll show that just because there's a lot of you guys that probably haven't seen this. I haven't showed it in a long time. So for those of you familiar, Deep Frost Citadel was the major build I made around Decked Out 2. And this insanity was, full face cam. Yeah, full face cam. This insanity was printed for me. You guys can see how big it is. It's as big as my head, all right? The amount of detail on this thing is absolutely insane. It's not really getting in focus here. I don't know how to make cameras work because I'm dumb. But,
Back it up.
Back it up. There we go. Anyways, this thing is insane. It is one of my absolute prized possessions, and I love it so much. Look at the detail on all those spikes and everything.
Spiderweb is key.
This guy's got a little dust. It needs to be dusted. So anyways, that was done by an amazing gentleman by the name of, goes by Rocket Scientist. Well, I got an email. The cobwebs are good. Yeah, it has that authentic touch. Got an email that says, hey, this is from Rocket Science. By the way, if you're here, say hello so people can say hello to you. Said, love what you're doing. I sent you a little something to appreciate where you're going. I'm really having a fun time and blah, blah, blah. It was just like saying how he was appreciating Decked Out and stuff. This comes in the mail today. Like, it is a 3D printed logo of the game, of the Decked Out logo. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And guys, I can't tell you how much I love this right now. I know the spot on my wall it's going right in between all of my little hex lights. It's going to be amazing. So I wanted to show that off. Like, he had to, I should put it like back here, right? It should be like, there's nowhere to stick it right here though. I don't have places to put it, but it's amazing. So anyways, I just want to show it. Like, he had to model this whole thing just from the image, I think, and get all the shapes correct and everything. Probably took a screenshot and overlaid it inside a 3D modeling app or something. And it's amazing. Anyways, I just wanted to show that off. I think it's really, really, really cool. It definitely needs to go behind you. It would be awesome if I could put it like, but this is a fuzzy wall. There's nothing. It's a very textured 3D wall. Anyway, there's that. Literally right there. It can't go right there. Guys, it's, if you saw the wall, you would understand. It's not a flat wall. It's like a rock wall. Everything is bumping out and jaggy and like, I would have to put like a vertical hanger on it that poked out from the wall, maybe? Maybe that's an option with like some kind of hanging system, but I don't know. We'll see. Velcro. If you use caps, I might understand. Yeah, if you have an idea that you don't think I understand, just use caps and I'll probably understand the idea better. That generally works. Anyways, back to our original programming. So this would be the warden's darkness area of influence if he was going all the way up to this guy right here. Screen. You guys are killing me. You want to like see the game? You guys need to see the game and everything. Like, come on. Anyways. You can also slide something between the bricks and set the plaque on it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe noises. Yeah. I like the idea of poking something into the wall between one of the bricks and then just hanging it from that. That would work too. Yeah. Well, you guys are needy. I know, right? Yeah, I want to see the game. Me. Fine. All right. So this is the sphere of influence. If the warden was going up to there. So what I want to do now is he's going to right about... Oh, that wasn't very smart. He's going to right about there. Less smart. We'll fix all of this later. Right? So warden is... How tall is the warden? Like 1, 2, 3 blocks tall. 1, 2. So he's going to about... He's going right about there. We'll go fix the redstone. I realize it broke. All right, let's add another shape now. Sphere. Add. Configure. We'll make this one green. Full block. 20 block radius. And go. So now, at floor height, you can see, like, virtually no difference. Maybe in a few places there's 1 block, but it's pretty close. In fact, if I change, let me try changing some of the renders on this to, if I just do inner edge on both. Let's see if this, the other option is to, let me see. I mean, you can see it's close. I'm just more curious for myself if I do. So basically, if the terrain did this, you know, if I was on a hilly area or something, and the terrain did this, then it would start to make a decent size difference. There's probably like a block or 2 difference right here. But assuming it's staying mostly flat, I think we're okay. The benefits of having him stop here far outweigh the benefits of having him go all up. Because if I go up here, I have to be conscious of where in the world that is. I have to build trees around him, or he has to go into like corners of buildings or things like that. If I just do this, anywhere, he's just gonna pop up right to the floor, and that's it. So assuming we can get rid of all of this now and add a little bit more wool, add some water in here. Let's go fix the redstone. Impulse approves of this. I see what you did there. Okay. How are you going to get him on upper floors that might be far from the ground? So that's a good question. There is the main design of the game is, yeah, I'm not going to say it's flat, but it is mostly like the village, the swamps, the graveyard. A lot of that will be generally on the same level. When I say on the same level, there's going to be little hills and stuff, but plus or minus 15 blocks probably, right? However, there is the Mistwell Caverns that goes underneath everything. So that will pose some issues. What I'll probably do is get these guys built. There's a good order in how I have to do all this. Like, because then these guys pop up. I have to have like bus lines going through the game that have to make sure that they're not going to collide with these tubes and stuff like that. But then once these tubes are in, I can design the Mistwell Caverns to, quite honestly, just go around some of these if I need to. And that might mean that there's some of these guys I might have to have 2 side by side. I might be doing some, I'm hoping not. We'll see if I can do this cleverly, but I might have like 2 bubble vaders right next to each other, one right here, and they're both triggered in sync. And the only difference is one goes up to the main level which is like the village, and the other one stops in the caverns level to get that too. What I'm hoping though is that I can get a height that kind of works just right to get both of them, but it's going to be very, very tricky. It's going to be tricky. All right, so you guys can see the spheres of darkness here and how they affect each other and stuff like that. I'm going to turn them off. We may turn them back on later. So the Mistwall Cavern is the same size as the entire map. Yes, but they're not going to, there's going to be caverns and passageways and stuff. So it's not the caverns aren't a big open sprawling area like the main map is. They're tunnels underneath the map, we'll say. Dragon Man, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 5 gift subs. Mizu, thank you for the gift sub as well. Appreciate you guys. People being amazing and I'm missing. Rigger, thank you for the 3141. Unbelievable. Drive by Dono. The grass is enthralling. I know, yeah. It's a grass stream today. And the great, thank you for the piece of pie. I asked my 2-year-old what your name is. You replied Tango. Then she said, okay, he is Tonky. Sorry, now Tonky. I'm okay with Tonky. All right, let's do this now. Hi, Rulia, thank you so much. And we'll do this, right? So now, obviously, this is going to be... Oh, how many times am I going to do that? We're going to cover this in wool. The whole thing isn't going to be made out of wool. I actually very much want it to be glass in most cases. But probably that much will be wool to stop it from getting vibrations. So you can see now, obviously these guys are going to be silenced as well too, so you won't hear them. So now, right, you can see my anger on the right there. It's currently 0. So you can see I'm moving around here, no vibrations, even though the guy's definitely in range. If I do that, I die. That's cool. No, I'm aware of the block replace thing, and Axiom, I just don't use it because, you know, same reason I don't use my whole hotbar. Oh, I am missing some water. You're right. Did I think we're missing some, like, yeah. Thank you. Good. How will you prevent them from sniffing the player? We've kind of gone over that a bunch already, Dan, but they only add aggro to the players if you get within 6 blocks. So if I go up here, they'll probably sniff me. Oh, I'm still in creative. We'll see. Like I'll try to get aggro this time when he comes up. Oh, so he detected me when he was down there. I need more. He got a vibration when he was down there. Let me fix that. That should be enough. What's up, Red? We're doing the darkness system here. and yeah, can you guess what color wool that's gonna be? All right, we're in survival. We have 0 anger. Okay, so like right now he would absolutely be detecting me. The wool stopping that. If I get close, he sniffed me once. I could probably get him to sniff me again. No, he's gone already. So it's going to be very hard. And now keep in mind, this whole time now he's losing aggro to me. So I think, though, if a player really wanted to, they probably could get zapped. Do I think anyone will ever get zapped in Decked Out 3? Here's where everyone quotes it, Mox. Yes, someone will eventually get zapped and we'll all laugh and it'll be a great moment. But they're going to need to be standing right on top of like a warden pop-up area for quite a while and moving. Like, I think as long as they're normally playing the game, they shouldn't even be aware of where the wardens are, of course, because like this is all, they're going to be completely below ground. So that's that, right? I think that's fine. I don't think they're gonna get too much. And again, it depends on the rate at which I throttle them up too. The longer we leave them down there, the more their anger declines or drains, as you can see. So now there is the idea, if I really wanted to be evil, that we could, and I'm not going to, but just for sake of argument, we could have our, max penalty be that the wool is removed, or, so now at max penalty, you're just getting, like, imagine wardens every 40 blocks in a offset grid, no matter where you go. Dead. It would not be fun, but it would be comical. We're not doing that. Anyone who's saying do it, I trust you're being silly, because it wouldn't be fun. But anyways, that's where we're at. Now, what else did I want to do? Was there other... I want to talk about how they're going to be stacked. Facetious, that's the word I was looking for, yeah. Max sphere ambient noise should stop and have only one word announcements booming through the silence. Only world announcements? I don't know what you mean by world announcements. Did I miss some gift subs? Probably. Auntie Jen, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I've been super bad. Cowboy up, thank you. I think I got you, Cowboy. Thank you. Aussie Joe. Scrolling up. Marshmallow, thank you. Yeah, I think we got everybody, guys. Thank you so much for the gift subs. Will we be sphere packing in this stream? Yes, we will. We're going to do that right now, in fact. So my first thought, right? So the straightforward approach, let's see here. In terms of how to align these guys, right? We'll go with a... Give me this, and then give me this. What's the easiest way to make a... Easiest way to make a 20 block ring? I have to go into scary mode. I don't know what I'm doing. I need B-dubs. Painter. 20 block radius. What tool is this? Is Axiom, yeah. Shape tool, flat circle, hollow. All right, you sound like you know what you're doing. Shape tool. Let me undo that. Shape tool, haha. Category, flat. Disk. Think you want this? Maybe. Disk. Oh, that's diameter, not radius. Oh, you're right, it is. Flat disk. Okay. So diameter needs to be 40. Let's try this. Eh? Yeah. Perfect. Now I can leave scary mode. Right, that should be the center. Is that the center? Oh, I want to go 41. You're right. That's why it's not the center. Thank you. Ah! Tell I'm an expert at this. Okay. Now that looks like the center, right? Yeah, we're good now. All right. Okay. So if I do that, so now I can go clone and grab all of this, right? So now doing that, what we really need to do is it's a struggle when we talking about how we're going to lay these out. It's a struggle between obviously we could get 100% coverage, but because it's a sphere, to get 100% coverage we would increase the amount of wardens we need by a lot. So like, are we okay with dead zones? If so, how big of a dead zone is acceptable, etc., etc. Hexagons can be pretty good, yeah. But my first thought was to do this. And maybe this is hexagons. Again, I haven't done the math yet, but something along these lines here where we're basically doing like triangles. Like this one would be even with, yeah, that. Something like this. That's going to end up being hexagons, right? So the question is now, what's the distance, this distance here, right? I could stop there, and then you can see the dead zone we have there in that triangle is not too bad, right? Having dead zones where no blindness is given out is really not that big of a deal. All we're essentially doing, assuming a random distribution of the player, all we're essentially doing is saying, when I try to apply darkness, there's a n% chance, and that n looks like it's probably 5% of the total area not covered. If we move this up, we reduce that percentage, but obviously we're compressing the grid of wardens, and we're probably going to need another wall or another row or two of wardens. So it's really a give and take, a trade-off of coverage versus number of wardens and how many times we want to do this. So I'm honestly thinking that right around there is kind of okay. But I'm curious what you guys think. Hyrulean, thank you for 10 gift subs. 40 gift subs. Hyrulean Rune, thank you so much. And Dragon Man with 10 gift subs, thank you guys. Dragon Man with 20 gift subs. Dragon Man with all the gift subs. Guys, I don't even know what's happening. There's like little packets of happiness being given out everywhere. Thank you so much. They will for sure learn the safe zones. I don't know that they will, because here's the thing. Assuming darkness is applied randomly and not constantly, they won't know when they miss the darkness. Well, I guess there's probably going to be an audio cue. Hostile target, thank you. There probably will be a... What the what? There probably will be an audio cue when darkness is applied, and I guess if darkness is not applied, they might start to track down where they were. I don't know that they're gonna like intentionally run over to those areas, because keep in mind, like there might be just a tree there too, so that's fine. Oh my gosh, hostile target, thank you for the gift subs. Redbeard, Waffles, thank you. Waffles, 25 gift sub. Hostile target, it's like 20 plus 10 or something, that's 30. I don't even know. Redbeard, 10. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. It's the hat. It's the hat, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's the hat, right? It's the poof. Is it just the poof? What? Oh my god. Holy crap. Hostile target. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really, 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 really appreciate that, guys. Thank you, everybody. With the I was gonna take the hat off, but now I gotta leave the hat on. I'm sorry. Unbelievably generous, guys. Thank you so much. Where's my camera? Thank you. All right. What do we're proposing this right here. What do we, Daniel, how did I do it this time? That's good, Daniel. What do we think? Your ears are wonky. I know they are. Less dead zone, you think? I mean, less dead zone means more wardens, more time. Keep in mind, every one of these warden pop-ups is going to take me, even when I get rolling, probably 20 minutes, right? We're talking another 5 or 6 hours of work just by dragging this up a little bit, potentially. Because what I can do, quite honestly, is just make sure that there's something impassable. I could put a tree there. I could put a structure there or something. You think a little bit closer, maybe? I'm open to like another block or two. Whoops. That's 2 blocks more. I think that works for me. So if we did that, now we're looking at, let me grab that and that and that and that. And let's see. I'll get this thing like all gridded out, but you'll see how this is going to work. We're essentially looking at something like this. No, that's not perfect. I will get it mathematically perfect, but I think this is what we're dealing with. Right? I think this gives us, it's not perfect coverage, but it gives us a good blend of 90% coverage without really ramping up the, what do you call it? And yeah, this is essentially a hex pattern because every circle will have, what is it, 6 adjacent circles. Risk, yeah, you did the math, yeah, something like that. Okay, so that's the plan. So now obviously there's going to be some point under decked out, right, where there's this grid, right, and every one of these is probably going to all be connected with like instant wire or something, and one signal that goes down to it that basically says do it, right, and it'll just go boom and trigger all of these guys and send them up. I could start to try to get like clever because I'm going to be kind of tracking where the player is. I'll know roughly what zone they're in. I could just send up that zone, but it doesn't feel worth it, right? It feels like a lot more work than to just have one system that says lift them all. Your storage system might be a nightmare. No, this is going to be, this will be, my storage system is at like Y60, 62. This is going to be at Y0. So I'm out of warden detection range. Deck.3 will have chunk loaders, right? Deck.3 will have on-demand chunk loaders that are active only when the game is being played. Or I should say only when the system is active. There's a difference between the game being played and the system is being active. The system is active longer than the game is played because there's some cleanup things and things we have to do, which we'll get into later. Okay. So the only concern I really have right now, I guess I just realized I'm not going to have to build a clock for every one of these. I guess one of the questions is, do I run... I build one master clock. Well, actually, it's not a master clock. What am I saying? It's signal based, so that clock isn't even there. The question is, do I build essentially this system at each elevator, at each bubble vader, or do I just have 2 lines that broadcast around, one that says lift and one that says close? Pros and cons to either, I'm not sure. Bork, bork. I definitely don't want them to get out of sync, but I think if one clock is controlling everybody go down and another clock is controlling, and then there's their delay centrally located in another signal, having 2 signals does mean it's a lot more redstone, but it reduces having to build these delay circuits at every elevator too. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I kind of agree, didn't I? Right? If I want to change the timings or something, I just do it in one place. That's a good point. Whereas if every delay is isolated to each elevator, I have to go back to every elevator and keep tweaking it and stuff like that and make sure they're all the same and stuff. So I think 2 lines is better, but we'll see. Keep in mind, there's not an actual clock. This was just for sample. It's actually going to be a downward signal from one of the game systems, from the fear system. When fear is over a certain threshold, it'll decide based on game rules of when to trigger darkness, and that'll be a system that comes, it'll be a signal that comes down here, and that signal will propagate to all the elevators, and then another signal a few seconds later will say, all right, everybody switch back. Unless I can come up with a really compact delay, then I might localize it to each elevator, but I'm not sure. You still stream until 4? I don't know. Probably not. What about the variation in player height? What? There's no variation in player height. I was talking about B-dubs, but... What causes fear to increase? Sprocket, I spent a good 20 minutes talking about that. I will upload this VOD to the second channel, where I give a complete overview of how fear goes up and goes down. If you drop them, would it make it easier to be able to increase the dark time? Yes. So that's honestly the one thing I'm seeing about this that I'm not crazy about is this right here. How long it takes for him to go down. Now, I agree. I don't have to wait. I could trigger it right now and he would go right back up. So I guess there's really no difference. Yeah, now that I think about it, there's really no difference between him just taking he could take 20 minutes to go down and it really wouldn't matter. As long as he's getting out of range of sniffing the players, he's got to get 20 blocks down, right? Once he's about there, that's fine. Because it doesn't really matter if he's sitting there waiting or if he's still descending. He's still taking down his anger. So, yeah. The more I think about this, there's no reason to escalate his fall to the bottom, because I could just trigger him back up anytime I want to. No, for everyone asking, wardens don't suffocate and wardens don't take lava damage either. Escalate, I see what you did there, yeah. And it's a bubble column. You can't drown in a bubble column, yeah. So, what do we think? Any other ideas, suggestions, improvements, anything that won't work?
Sounds like something exciting's happening in here.
Kind of. I think we just kind of nailed down our plan for the darkness system.
Huh.
Scale it up to see what 100 wardens look like. I mean, it would just be 100 of these at different locations, so I don't really see a benefit to actually cloning 100 of these. Any variance in cell height for terrain would throw off the timings for an external event, I'm afraid. Yeah, but we can compensate by that by adding a delay or not at each node, right? If we know that the next guy's got to go up here, it's a good point though. What was that, Risk? If we know the next guy's got to go up there, then we just have to have that guy go up, that many seconds, half a second or second sooner than the other guy.
That guy having fun.
Maybe. I guess that does counteract with the instant wire theory, but I feel like there's ways to compensate that and add delay or something like that, or just start him at much higher. Yeah, exactly, Jake. But it would be nice if these guys were all on the same level, if I can go down there and just see them all instead of having them be at different heights. But you're right, having them be at a earlier height would solve that too.
So, what is that inside of it?
That's a warden.
And just spinning around, having a good time.
He's the happiest he's ever been, yeah. So wardens apply a darkness effect. I'll show you. So I'll be standing here. You're not gonna be able to see it because I'm in a nice, clean, open world. But if it was dark, like decked out 3, so I get the darkness effect now. Poof, right? So yeah, it's somewhere randomly within 6-second window. But now what that means is as your fear rises, I can put darkness on the players. It's gonna be awesome. Mixed with some audio, spooky audio effects. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's very good at pretending. Yeah, I know. Any worries about the warden's straws interfering with the noodles? What? By noodles, you mean redstone? I don't know what you mean by straws. Are you silencing the wardens? Yes, of course. The wardens should be... the player should be completely unaware that there's wardens there. Obviously, they will figure it out once there's darkness being applied to them, but they should never see... I do read a lot out of context. It's hard, all right? It's hard. I think leaving warden sounds going to be better for the players more. No, I disagree. We have professional audio systems to do that. I don't want to have warden sounds in there that they can't hear. The player won't always be blinded, right? No. We haven't decided what the maximum amount of darkness will be. It will be obviously when their fear is peaking at the highest. Reading is hard when there's thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, Jay.
Keep using the word "we" haven't decided.
Yeah.
Is that you and me?
Yeah. Team Tango. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're doing all the redstone.
Well, clearly, somebody's got to be the brains.
I'm just the pom pom, right? You're the brains behind the operation.
Exactly.
So, questions. Why not use a blinding potion? Because it doesn't exist. Will your storage room fit between the proposed grid? I mean, yes, I'll have to make sure of that now, right? That's why I want to get these in early. So there's a lot of differences. Like, believe it or not, the thing that's the most flexible is the map. The map design is the most flexible. That's why I haven't designed the map yet. I want to get the critical redstone systems in, especially redstone systems like this that are inflexible. Like these warden pop-ups have to be where they're going to be. So they're going to go in early, and then we're going to put in things like the main bus system, which is the event, the event kind of networking system. Get that in there because it's not inflexible, but it kind of wants to be simple and straight lines and stuff like that. We'll get those in there. Once those critical systems are in, then I wasn't explaining anything important. Yes. How can I help you?
There's buses in Minecraft?
Yes. And trains.
What?
And planes.
What? Like a school bus?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yellow school buses. What was I saying?
Come on, buses.
Can use the darkness to make areas harder until the player collects, say, a key that opens the area and makes it easier. I could, right? You could say you're not allowed to be in this zone yet, so therefore you're overcome with darkness. But that's going to happen if you were here for the beginning of the stream. Different zones are going to have different fear multipliers on them, so fear will ramp up much quicker in other zones. So if you go into a zone that you're not prepared to handle, your fear is going to spike and it will start getting dark and you'll probably die. And you'll have to basically be like, I shouldn't be here. Zone lock you. It's actually the direct opposite of zone lock, Doc. It's zone discouragement. You can go wherever you want. You're just going to die. That's the goal at least. Sabby Harb, thank you for the piece of pie. Girl Squish, thank you for the piece of pie. Thank you guys. You guys said the same thing. Do you know each other? That's weird. You guys must know each other. Thank you, both of you. Seems like the darkness isn't punishing enough. I agree. It's not meant to be. It's a... I think it's gonna make the game better. I think it's gonna scare the player. I think it's gonna make it a little bit harder for them. It's gonna make them panic a little bit. There's other systems to fear that I'm not going into right now that will make it actually hard as well too. Do wardens sniff mobs? Yes. So there is a theoretical case where if we're popping a warden up a lot, that he could kill a Ravager, right? Because Ravagers are more likely to, or any mob, a Ravager is more likely to linger in an area, right? A Ravager could just be hanging around here, right? Right? And if he stays there forever, like this warden, this Ravager has got nowhere to go, realistically, he's probably gonna die in a little bit here. We'll see.
Why?
Because every time the warden pops up, he's going to sniff him and detect him and get a little bit of aggro, and his aggro isn't diminishing fast enough where eventually he will nuke his face, I believe. Game mode doesn't matter for me. It's the Ravager we're trying to kill. There are ways to stop the sniffing behavior. If you keep him aggro on something else, Jake, yeah, I could put hostile guys down at the bottom that he stays aggro on, I think, right? So if he's aggro at those guys, then he only sniffs when he's not angry at something like that. I think, yeah, sniffing is the lowest priority. So if he has other guys he's angry at, he won't sniff. We may have to do that, but it does mean more entities down there, I believe.
I don't like to sniff.
You don't like the sniff bag guys? Yeah, exactly, Jake. I'm honestly kind of surprised that that guy isn't dead yet. Okay, so the scoreboard on the right there is actually, the way that command block right there is working is it's showing the aggro for the first thing on the warden's aggro list, which normally is me for testing, but because he's not aggro at me, he's now aggro at the warden, we can actually see he's at 70, he's gonna fall. Next time he pops up, he should blast him because he's going to hit that threshold of 80. So you can see that Ravager would have had to be standing there for a long time. Wool is blocking from the warden? No, it's not. There's a slab there. He should... There he goes. Now he's going to blast him. Oh, he tried. He tried, but he went out of 16 block range. This is like max fear right now too. So he couldn't get it off fast enough, but it was very close. So I think there's still a chance he could. Yeah, now he's toast. No? Oh, maybe that's good. Yeah, he has to be within 16 blocks to blast. He's obviously within 16 blocks when he starts his blast. You can see his animation happening. But because he's falling outside that 16 block range before he can get it off, which is actually a great thing. Oh, there we go. I finally got him because it just built up. Because he came up already above 80. That was the first time he lifted up and he didn't have to sniff and then blast. He came up, he was already... But I mean, that warden would have to be sitting there in that 6 block range for 30 seconds, it looks like. So, will it happen? Yes, some Ravagers will take damage and eventually die to wardens. I don't think it'll be a lot. Yeah, the second we have a place, you know, the second there's... Why can't I place blocks? What's happening right now? Am I in some kind of crazy mode? What's happening? What am I doing wrong? I feel like an idiot. Why can't I place blocks? You're in replace mode. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Why isn't the thing glowing? Oh, it was glowing because it was yellow on yellow. But if I was in replace mode, why didn't it replace that? Or is it and it just doesn't make a placing sound? Interesting. So if you try to replace the same block with the same block, it doesn't do it. It makes sense. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, if that Ravager had tons of area to wander, it would have been totally fine, right? He would have just casually been moving around the map and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to stand here and try and prove that, but if there was a full map, he would wander. Does darkness affect player range? No, it has nothing to do with it. Darkness is its own separate system that mobs do not wander if 32 blocks of the player. True. True. Unless influenced by other factors, but yeah. Have more blocks in safer areas. Oh, you're saying, you know, do the pathfinding weighting system by doing this. Yeah, that might be something we do. Not sure if I want to kind of coerce them into certain areas. You could do this and then they'll be more likely to path over to those areas. If it becomes a problem, yeah, it would help. That is big brain pathing, yeah. All right. I don't know if there was anything else about fear I wanted to do. So this is something that's probably going to happen soon. Like I need to make a warden farm and I need to move roughly 100 wardens. And I gotta build, I'm probably going to build all of the lifts first before I start getting any wardens down there, because once we get those wardens over there, it's going to be a pain. I think unfortunately the nearest deep dark is like 1,000 blocks away. Yeah, James, 100 wardens. Depending on the final size of the map, it'll be, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm curious what this distance is right here. What's the vertical distance here between that and that? 21 blocks. Yeah, so if we're only doing one every 21 blocks, yeah, that's like 20 by, and this should be 40, right? 41. So 10 across and 20 makes sense, right? And almost 20 down. That's 200 wardens. God, I can't do that. I can't. Oh, is it 34? Oh, it is 34. Did I get it backwards? 34. Sorry. Okay, that makes sense, right? Because that's the 21. That's the 34. Sorry, I'm an idiot. So yeah, it'll be like 10 by 15. So we're looking at 150. Like, no joke, Decked Out is gonna have 300 entities in it, and I'm starting to worry that that might be a problem. I don't care about the name tags. I don't care about the resources. I just care about, like, yeah, potential lag. Ask Doc to help with warden farming. I've done plenty of warden farming. It's not hard. Dunga, 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 dunga. The only resource that really counts is time. Correct. Yes. But I do have to be aware of entity count. I'm not that much of an expert with how much entity count affects lag. It depends on the entity type and things like that. And I don't know if there's optimizations to make. Like, will these wardens not attempt to pathfind because they have nowhere to go, or because they're in water? You know, like, there's questions for people smarter than me that, but pathfinding is generally the costly one. So I think if wardens are in water, they don't try to pathfind, or I think it goes into like an alternate pathfinding, but I honestly don't know. I'd have to look at the code and ask people who know. Time for a new name tag. No AI me. Yeah. Don't think that's allowed. Yeah, I'm hoping that in the 300 range will be okay. Right? Is there a way to... I forget, does this command come with a count? Is there a way to summon... What's a quick way to summon 300 wardens? Repeating command and then just count them. Okay. I mean, something for something a little bit more. Maybe there's a better way. Again, this is not my... I've made mistakes. I'm looking for my entity count. It's around here somewhere. That's not 150. Oh, where's my entity count? Is it not up here? Shouldn't it be here? Or is it render? There it is. Yeah, that's 150 right there. 157. What a weird sound. F3 2? Oh, cool. So it's totally fine. Go in survival. No, these guys will all be name tags, so they don't count toward the mob cap. Hey guys, what's up? Easy. Hey guys, wardens are scary, right? look at the aggro on the right. Look at the column. No. Oh, one got me. I wish you couldn't outsprint them. Someone's gonna get me now. They need to be faster or something. Hey, boys. I should be dead. I should absolutely be dead. Oh, that is terrifying. Just a wall of war. That's fun. They're kind of angry at me. Oh, they got me. Well, that was fun. So, once darkness fades here. Hello, darkness. There we go. I think that's kind of the plan. I know I asked this before, but I'll ask again. Was there anything... Does anyone see any major concerns? This darkness stack, no. Can you explain fear again quickly? Yeah, sure. I'll go over it again, I guess, for people who are late. wool at the base too, so you can work in the noodles. Yeah, probably. I'll probably put, that's a good point, like 5 or 6 blocks up of noodles there. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'll probably do wool 6 blocks, and then honestly, it doesn't even really need to be glass because this is just going to be going through rock and stuff here. So yeah, the whole thing, and part of me wants to be able to see the wardens. I don't know, but that does make working in the noodles much more of a pain in the butt. Yeah. Sight and sound disappearing don't make this way IRL. It's the inverse. Think pilots and wardens. I have no idea what you said. I'm sorry. Could the wardens be snaked in a water pathway horizontally to reduce the number? Yeah, I could have the wardens be moving around and stuff, but then there's no way to guarantee coverage, right? This is the only way to guarantee, you know, a 90% coverage. If they were moving around and stuff, they would get dispersed and be in different, you know. My main concern is that by activating all the wardens at the same time, will become predictable and easy to counter the darkness by counting the time based on the fear. Well, there's nowhere to go. I mean, unless you memorize these little spots here, which I'm going to take good time to put trees and stuff there. There's no way to avoid it. My mental health, that is a concern, yeah. Okay, so real quick, we'll recap fear again. Let me go here. For those that have questions about it, fear is, so the clank is gone. There's no system called clank. There's no system called hazard. Those are gone. There are 2 new primary systems. I'm covering one of them today. In a future stream, we'll cover what the other one is. That behaves very differently and has very different effects. It's not related at all. The system here today is fear. It is basically measuring your internal, you know, terror and how well you're able to function based on your environment and how scared you are, essentially. Is it intending to actually measure the player's real fear? No, it's a game mechanic. Obviously, we'll do our best to make the game scary, but there's only so much you can do in Minecraft. Fear will go up. Some cards will raise fear. Cards that have like a mixed benefit, because obviously fear going up is a detriment. But cards will also, there will be some good cards that lower your fear, of course, which will be a good thing. You'll want those in your deck, and those are what's going to allow you to go to more advanced zones. The fear will go up. The primary way fear will go up in big spikes, like random spikes. They may not happen for a while, and then you may get 1 or 2, is what I'm calling right now random world fear events that are specific to the zone you're in. You will you'll hear sounds or see something that will cause your fear to spike. And again, those sounds are going to be relative to the zone you're in. So in the swamp, you might hear witch cackling or bubbling whatever, or a werewolf howl or something, where in a crypt you might hear ghosts or I don't know, whatever, right? We'll make this up. So those random world fear events are going to have multipliers associated with them based on which zone you're in. So some zones will inherently be scarier than others. And that's one of the ways that we're controlling the pacing of how you get through the game. Like the village will have a fear multiplier of 1.0. And then other zones will have higher fear multipliers, meaning when a random world fear event happens, it's going to apply more fear. Like a random world fear event, I'm making these numbers up, in the village might cause between 1 and 3 fear, you know, whereas when you're in the swamp, it may be 2 and 5, and in the crypt, it may be 3 and 9, whatever, right? Something like that. So that'll be the primary way that the fear goes up. Will be those random world fear events. It's going to encourage you to not stay in those advanced zones that long and get out, because that's going to be constantly pushing against you. In terms of what makes fear go down, your fear it'll tick down automatically by time, consistently. Very slowly though, very slowly. You're going to need cards to supplement it, especially once you get in the higher zones. What that balance is between passive fear drain versus card fear drain, don't know. That's everyone wants me to call it dread instead of fear. I don't know, maybe is fear going to be displayed on the map? Have you confirmed there will be a map? Yes, I have. There will be a map in your hand, and that's one of the things that there's some really cool stuff with the map too. A lot of planning went in to make sure that the map is going to be good. Very excited about that. Good is a horrible word, but dread is a good idea, honestly. That might be, I'll think about that. I don't know. Fear is simple. Dread is a little bit more of a intense term, but I don't know. Right now, I think I'm leaning toward fear. Especially because I think, you know, dread could be used for other things. Like dread could be, I don't know. We'll see. What else was I saying? There'll be plenty of other things that will raise your fear. Not plenty, but there'll be a few other things that raise your fear that I'm not getting into now. I do have one that I'm extremely excited about that I hope is interesting. It's making me smile because I talked with someone the other day to see, could this work? And it looks like the answer is very much yes, and I'm excited. So yeah, you're gonna want cards. There may be some spots in the world. There's so much I want to tell you guys, but I'm not going to yet. There may be some spots in the world that increase your passive fear drain a little bit, like almost like a safe zone, a calming zone. But there may be other costs to hanging out there for a while. Yeah, so the effects of fear, obviously this doesn't affect gameplay, but very much atmospherically and mood. As your fear goes up, your audio, your passive audio, the drones, the ambient sounds are going to amplify and get more intense, letting you know that you're more scared. The blindness effect, which we spent most of the stream prototyping here, will be the primary one, and then the other one, which is just as strong, it's going to link to the other system, which we'll talk about another time. And then one of the other little teaser things is there will be certain audio events that you can hear in the game that may be spooky and may be beneficial, and you may only hear them when your fear is very high. We'll just say that. And that could lead you to certain pieces of lore, pieces of knowledge, pieces of information that you really might want. One of the big things that that's very hard with this, right? Like, I want to add secrets and puzzles and lore to the game, but this is a game that's going to be heavily streamed, so I can't really. Let's be honest, right? The way it works, unfortunately, is if I put any secret in and anyone discovers that secret on stream, then every other hermit that plays the game will have that secret slammed down their throat, and that's just the way life is. It's unavoidable. So that's kind of a balance between, is there ways that I can give secrets to the players without giving it to the audience? Like, if you guys remember in Decked Out 2, at the end, I put those cheesy little signs there that were like, hide from camera, right? And it worked, but it was horrible. But that was the case of, like, I don't want the audience to see this because I want the players to all potentially be experiencing it and solving it in parallel. And that's really cool. I want the audience to tune into someone's stream to see if they learn something, as opposed to the audience always being smarter than all of the players combined, because they're the hive mind, right? So there's still some ideas. Like, one of the ideas, and I don't know if this will work or not, but one of the ideas will be, instead of playing an audio sound or something that will give them information, I give them a player head that has audio embedded on it. And then I just tell the players, take this as a reward and play it later when you're not streaming, right? That's one way to do it. There might be other ways. It's a mix, because I know you guys like to see the secrets, but it's all or nothing. You're either completely in the dark or you know everything. So I don't know. I just want you to know that's like one of the things I'm kind of like struggling with to figure out, so that it stays interesting for the hermits, so that they can figure things out. And because I'm trying to put a lot more story and lore, and I really, really, really am going to reward players for exploring and paying attention and listening and doing things more than go in the game, get my thing, and get out, right? I want it to be more about experiencing the game and not speed running it, if that makes sense. So it's just an interesting challenge. Very interesting. There's no signing NDAs or anything, guys. Come on. All it takes is one person out of the 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people, and so you can't protect against it, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. And streams could be emote only. That would enrage people. How big is the planning right now? Let me see. I apparently lied at TwitchCon. It wasn't 40 pages. It's 32 pages right now. I've deleted a lot though too of things. Once I had like brainstorming ideas and I was like, no, I'm not going in that direction. I got rid of it. So it's slowly turning from a brainstorming document into a design document, which is where it should be. But yeah, here, I'll show you. Like, I have to, this is me paging down. There we go. We just hit the end. Yeah. So you guys will learn it all in due time. Fear was one of the sections. So today you learned about fear. It's an interesting struggle right now deciding, like, I want to tell you guys the things close to as I'm going to work on them, and then determining the order I have to work on things. It has a lot to do with the tech behind it and things like that too. So it's interesting, challenging. Like, if I told you everything about here, there would be, everyone would forget. There's 6 months before I'm going to be implementing some of the stuff on here. So, you know, that's how it is. All right. How long do we been streaming here? 2 hours. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. How long did you start planning Decked Out 3? I want to say I started planning it over the summer. I didn't really lean in hard until October. Can we raid Grant? Grant streaming? Absolutely, of course. Will Decked Out ever be a standalone game? Unlikely. So yeah, there may be a warden farm happening in the near future, possibly tomorrow. And we may start thinking about a way to relocate them. Not that I'm going to, but having that infrastructure in place might be a good thing to do. This might be a good time to mention the Decked Out channel. Well, that's on the Patreon. It's not for everyone, Dead Knight. And I don't even know what access point it has or anything yet, so we'll get there, yeah. What's my stream schedule looking like recently? It's generally Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Obviously I skipped yesterday, so I bumped it today. I will stream tomorrow and then probably Friday. Although I got to talk with the guys. I think we're probably going to be doing a Skiz Impulse stream this Friday too. Please get Skiz to move the wardens. That's not a bad idea, honestly, Binary. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right, let's raid the green. Is he green MC? I don't even know what he is. He's just green. Okay. We've never raided green before. This is awesome. If you want to go to Wells, go to Wells. That's fine too. Boom, 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 boom. All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out for this, because this was definitely a different stream. We weren't on the server. Thank you. The VOD will be uploaded to the second channel shortly. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out for this. It was a lot of fun for me, and I'm hoping to do a few more of them. So thank you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.